Hello aspirants, this is me Yasmin Gill presenting to you the PIB highlights of 23rd of January. So you can follow all these videos on this particular link, plus you can also rate and review the same. So let's begin. Firstly, under history culture section, we have this small snippet which is 23rd of January is also the birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Plus, even Prime Minister presented the National Bravery Awards, which we did few days back. That it is not necessary that they are presented on Republic Day. In fact, they are presented before Republic Day. So this time around, they are presented on 23rd of January. That is the birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose by Prime Minister. Next, society-related issues, we have National Girl Child Day to be celebrated tomorrow, that is 24th of January. So in that context, there are certain popular women out here. So you can read about them. Not necessarily a question may be asked in UPSC, but then you can encounter such questions in different papers as well. So one name is very famous this very year, Ms. Deepa Malik. Then Mrs. Arunima Sinha also might be very famous. She was the first woman amputee to climb Mount Everest. So just go through it. Next. So this is about Jallikatu. So is it only about Jallikatu, the unrest which we are seeing right now in Tamil Nadu? Is it only related to Jallikatu or is it something beyond it? So let's analyze this. See, what Jallikatu did was it merely acted as a trigger. Overall, we know the movement goes much beyond. It's a movement of Tamil identity as well as a symbol of Tamil pride. So we all know that much. Other than that, there are certain important points here which will show and reflect a better understanding of the issue in your answers. So just focus on these points. Firstly, two sort of questions can be asked from it. One is from the ethical viewpoint, that is from the biocentric ethics, and other is from the social movement perspective as well. So what sort of movement was it and so on. So firstly, it was a movement which was led by masses, no leadership at all, and they did not even let the politicians address them. So that is how the movement took place from bottom to upwards. Plus there's absence of any organization, absence of any program of action, and plus the movement is also supported by diaspora and from people outside Tamil Nadu as well. Movement is closely linked to agriculture as well, agriculture distress, particularly because of the drought, rural unemployment and so on. Now, why is rural issue so important to Tamil Nadu? Tamil Nadu, if you look at the population, it is the third most urbanized state in India. So it has close to 50% of Tamil Nadu population which is urbanized. So then why is this an issue? This is because the dependency of population on agriculture is a lot. Plus, do remember Jallikatu is a sport of peasantry overall. And rural economy is interlinked to urban economy as well. For example, in the construction sector very popularly. Other than that, even youth have involved in this particular movement. So though most of the youth, they have left the state for lucrative jobs, but they are still connected to their rural roots and they feel the same factors which actually caused the distress while they were in those rural areas. So now when the revolt is there or the uprising is there in the rural areas, they can feel the pain. Plus there is insensitivity of social as well as political elites. Then there are certain new factors, which is firstly, the non-agrarian capital is mainly invested in land markets rather than the agriculture. Also from the rural areas, there's a lot of unregulated resource extraction, for example sand, and therefore rural people, they sort of feel a bridge from the urban people as well. So overall, it is an articulation of culture as a political movement. Right now it is getting politicized as well. So because of the peasant politics involved in it, which is taking up the issue of caste as well. So what is needed right now from here on? Firstly, we have to transform this energy of street into political action. Right now we see there was death of Jallikatu this very year and also retreat of DMK leader Karunanidhi. So there's a lot of political space open for new leaders to come up. And if this is not done at time, this particular movement, which is a mass-led movement, it is a movement from grassroots, this might be captured by old establishment. So there's new political space which has to be amply utilized. So this is all about Jallikatu. Then we have polity and governance. We have All India Services. So what is government doing right now is it's trying to specify a timeline for completing any sort of inquiry which comes against All India Services officers. So as per it, All India Service Rules 1969 have been amended, and there are three sort of timelines which have been proposed. First one is the timeline related to departmental inquiry. The second one is the timeline for the officer which is found at fault. And the third one is the timeline related to the time for representation to be given on the advice of UPSC. So firstly, if you look at the departmental inquiry time, this is a limit of 6 months, which can be extended but only for justiciable reasons, and that too should be recorded in writing. And this extension can be for further 6 months, cannot exceed 6 months, and this is by some disciplinary authority only. Then we have the time limit for the officer at fault. So this is 30 days time limit, but this can be extended again for 30 days but never beyond 90 days. Then we have a time limit to respond to UPSC advice regarding the penalty. So this is initially a period of 15 days plus no extension beyond 45 days. So this is how the inquiry will be fastened. Next, under economics, we have Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act. So finally, NK committee, which was constituted in 2016 to review the FRBM Act. So this has given its report and it has submitted its report to Finance Minister. Also, this particular committee had various other members. You can go through their names. And what was the committee formed basically for? See, the recommendations were not today mentioned on PIB. In case you find them in newspaper, just do study them because this topic is very important. And we will only analyze here what was it set up for. So firstly, it was set up to review the existing FRBM Act in light of the contemporary changes, past experiences, current global economic developments, and so on. Simultaneously, not just look at past, but also recommend the future fiscal framework. This was its mandate initially. This mandate was expanded. This was expanded to check on the views of 14th Finance Commission as well as the Expenditure Management Commission, and therefore the committee has taken time beyond its original deadline to submit the report. So this is the required question for the same. FRBM, it's talking about a range of fiscal deficit targeting rather than a pinpoint. So you can answer this question. Also, you can go about this particular topic, that is Presidential Award of Appreciation. So this is a particular certificate which is given for specially distinguished record of service. It is announced on the eve of Republic Day, and this very year it has been given to 40 officers of Custom and Central Excise. Next we have gem.government.in. So what is it? It's a government e-place. About once we did at the last of this passing year, that is 2016 as well. So what is it going to do? The aim for this particular e-marketplace is to transform the way procurement is done by government ministries. So this owes its genesis, or it was formed on the recommendations of two group of secretaries to Prime Minister in 2016, and it is trying to set up an e-market for procurement. Now this is to be set up by National E-Governance Division, which comes under MeitY, as well as Director General of Supplies and Disposal, and these both agencies would be setting up this particular e-marketplace, and the marketplace has been launched by Commerce and Industry Ministry. Also, the benefits of such a marketplace would be for three parties, that is for government, for sellers, as well as for the Indian industry. So how? Just go through these points. I have written certain small explanations ahead. You can go through the explanations. I'll quickly go on the bullet points. Transparency, efficiency, then efficiency, because it will also be integrated with coming time with GSTN, that is Goods and Services Network, plus IceGate. Now do mention in the comment section what do you mean by IceGate. It's a very now it's been a lot of time since this portal has been launched. Then we have secure and safe transactions or procurement. Then we have potential to support Make in India, and lastly savings to the government. So next we have RuBsis. So RuBsis is launched by Commerce and Industry Ministry. What is it for, or what does it stand for? It stands for Rubber Soil Information System. So evident from the name itself, firstly soil will be checked, and accordingly what are the fertilizers that should be used, that will be advised. So this has been developed by Rubber Research Institute of India along with three coordinating agencies. So you can go through their names here. Also currently launched in Kottayam in Kerala, which is the largest rubber growing district of India, but with time it will be extended both to Kerala as well as Tamil Nadu. Next we have security related very important topics, two of them, both from Indian Express. Firstly, we have the recent, we know Jawan had complained regarding the food quality, right? So we'll be analyzing it, what is the problem in CAPFs. So firstly, we'll be analyzing issues in state police, which we had done once very properly in PIB. So just quick points: politicization of state police, criminalization of state police, and even National Police Commission and Supreme Court have given their guidelines, but still these are not implemented, and state police is also a lot of stressed, and they have been given work which is not their own work. They had to focus on investigation, but they're currently also managing every other sort of thing. So this is brief regarding the state police, but our focus here is regarding central armed police forces. So firstly, this poor quality food complaint is mere symptomatic. So the whatever is the dissatisfaction, it is much deeper, and it is related to various other issues. So what are these issues? Firstly, see, these forces such as ITBP, BSF, they get very rough terrains to work, right? Plus they get very less peace stations, hence they are often overstretched, they cannot get their leave sanctioned very easily. They have certain housing issues, they have infrastructure issues, etc. And this is the reason why, whereby their mandatory timing for the service is done. They usually go for voluntary retirement, and therefore we see a lot of attrition within these forces. So that signifies the dissatisfaction which these forces have. Other than that, what has happened is that central armed police forces are also being used for state operations, though they should not have been. And for this particular meeting of state demand, Ministry of Home Affairs has gone for their unplanned expansion, and this unplanned expansion is now not being ably managed. So human resource management is very weak. Plus there's a lot of demand coming up from CAPF side. Even if this from the state side, even if this demand is met, still the state would be facing shortages because vacancies are still unfilled. Plus there's a shortage of transport, arms, etc. There are procurement procedures are very complicated. There are a lot of delays as well. Also, every such battalion has to have a training company which is not to be sent on duty, but even it is sent. So overall, what is the situation is that 95% of Central Armed Police Forces remain deployed throughout the year. So that is the amount of overstretch of work that has been forced on them. Plus they cannot avail leave, which I had already mentioned. And overall, there's a new point coming up here, which is the growing conflict between officers and men. So what is the reason for it? See, firstly, the non-gazetted men that are coming up, they are more educated, they have higher expectations, they form political linkages based on various factors, for example, caste, religion, etc. Now because they grow more powerful, and also officers do not have the same amount of authority that they used to have earlier, so there's a growing friction between officers and men as well. So what's the way forward from here? Grievance redressal has to be more broad-based, rotation of duties has to be done, social media, which was the trigger this very year, it should not be wished away, but definitely it has to be regulated, and also form a high-powered commission. And coming to last topic, we have right to return. So why are we studying this? Because it's the 27th anniversary of Kashmiri Pandit exodus from Valley. Also in this context, the Kashmir Assembly has come up with a resolution for their return, and not just their return of the Sikhs and Muslims as well. So it has called for congenial atmosphere of existence. But see, is this something which is new? So this is not something new, because even Harriet and every other party has been talking of their return, because they say that okay, their exodus from the valley had caused a big civilizational loss for Kashmir Valley. But see, is this congenial atmosphere what this resolution has talked of, is it possible? So maybe not possible. Why? Because they do not have even homes to stay. Some of their homes have been illegally occupied, so they are virtually they do not have any sort of sustenance mechanism, right? Other than that, even the Home Ministry, now do write this in sugar-coated words, not as such. So Home Ministry had laid a plan, but for segregated townships. Now this segregated for townships for Pandits, which actually it will promote more of community divide. So this can heighten communal divide as well. Plus even the government built apartments, they are separately for Pandit enclaves, which is not a very good thing because it will lead to their ghettoization. So in that context, even such a resolution by Jammu and Kashmir Assembly, though it's a welcome move, but how much change it will bring on the ground is yet to be seen. So then there are certain MCQs which were asked in today's session. One is related to gas chromatography, then we have related to Madan Vashisht ji, then we have again related to monochromatops. Then the last question was also related to monochromatops. So do solve these questions, and do let me know how you find the MCQ course in case you find it useful. Do not forget to rate and review the same. So friends, thank you so much.